Hello, hello.
Hello.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Mind the Moments Thursday morning gathering, brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. And this is a place, if you've been here before, where we invite experienced mindfulness instructors to speak with us about what mindfulness means to them, and then to discuss as a community how we can incorporate these practices into our daily lives. I'm Suzanne Rowe Palacino. So happy to be back here with Tara Healey, founder and director of Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare's mindfulness program. Good morning, Tara.
Good morning, Suzanne. Happy to be back.
So nice to have you back.
Thank you.
So this morning, Tara will start us off with a question for the group, as we usually do, and then share a few words with us and lead us in at least a 12-minute guided practice. And for anyone new, a special welcome to you. The practice will be guided throughout, so no concerns about if it's completely new to you. We will help you along the way. And so as we chat during this time, if you can go to the bottom of your screen and open up the chat. And as you do that, let me make sure that everyone can chat together. So click the drop-down menu, the blue drop-down menu, and click on everyone, and everyone will get to see your comments as you type them. So with that, Tara, what is the question that you have for the group this morning?
Yeah, so I have been thinking a lot lately about transitions. And in part, I think about a week ago, I started to really notice that the late afternoon sun felt different than it feels in June or July. And even though it's been still quite warm, there's something about the shadows and, really starting to feel that we're moving from one season into the next season. But also just kind of all around me, my sister is a teacher and she's already been back in the classroom kind of getting things ready. And just the transition from kind of summer, which is more, traditionally like a time of rest and connection with friends and family, and then transitioning. It's like moving into September. It's kind of like a new beginning. And the other thing is that my father is in hospice right now. So he's also in a transition period from, living a very long and good life and transitioning into really into the mystery of what's next. And so transitions, it has been very much on my mind. And even this place that's often called liminal space between the ending of one thing, but the next thing hasn't quite started yet. So my question this morning is related to transitions. And really, what does that word evoke for you? What does it conjure up for you? Is there a word or a phrase that that comes up when you hear the word transitions? What does that mean to you? And it can mean different things at different times. But so take a minute to think about that. I'll ask Suzanne to respond, and then go ahead and start the chat. When you hear the word transitions, what does that mean to you? What does it bring up? And it can be anything from unsettledness, one word, to looking forward to beginning something new. But Suzanne, why don't you start? And
so a couple of different things, but I love the fall. So it's just my favorite season in New England. I'm not a hot weather person, and we've had some heat lately. So I love the transition to fall. My youngest daughter is leaving to only moving 10 miles or 7 miles down the street, but she's leaving the house. So that's definitely bittersweet to have her transitioning. But and unsettledness. I do tend to, I tend to be a person that is resistant to change. So
Yeah.
things. But how
And
about
good
you,
to
Tara?
know, right? Like, because then
Yeah,
you can fully, experience that whole thing.
yeah.
Yeah, I think mostly, not all the time, but mostly I feel kind of in transitioning into something that hasn't yet fully started. Kind of the word that comes to me is expectant, with hope and curiosity and um, interest about what's next. So um, mostly I feel positive about it. Usually the unknown I kind of enjoy, but not always. So
Mm.
let's see what people have said. Yeah, renewal, excitement.
Yeah, there's a mix of, feelings of anticipation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sarah, I love that. Although I've been out of school for 37 years, I'm always happy that I don't have to go back.
Yeah,
Yeah, yes, yeah.
yeah, a real mix of loving fall.
Yeah. Has anybody
Mhm.
else noticed the sun, that the angle of the sun feels different in August? Or is it just me? I I don't know. I'm curious. Put a little note in there if you've noticed it. Um, I
I've noticed it on my patio because I move my plants around a little bit, but
Oh, okay.
I don't notice it particularly differently now than other times. I just notice the sun changing throughout.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Something feels different in the air to me too. Yeah, I'd love to hear. I'm like, is it just me? Is it?
Yeah,
Um, yeah. So, well,
leaves
there's the
turning
leaves.
back.
Yes,
Yeah.
Karen, I actually was out for a run this morning and I almost took a picture because there's some bright red leaves, just a cluster, and the rest of the leaves are green on this tree across the street.
And I
It's
happened
getting
to read
darker
in the
earlier.
news. Yeah, I happened to read in the news that the foliage may be later in this
Oh,
area.
oh, that's funny. It kind of, well, yeah, I don't know.
Hmm. But that, I don't know how the colors would be different, but
Yeah. Well, here's to transitions and all of what they bring.
hmm.
Sometimes hard and sometimes joyful. And yeah, it's they tend to be pretty mixed. But yeah, so um, as Suzanne said, if some of you are new, this is guided throughout, but I do have moments where I like to have periods of silence. So I actually time it so that for a good 3 minutes, you're not hearing me. I feel like those having longer periods of silence is important to the whole process. So I'll be guiding it in the beginning. We'll kind of check in with the body, and then we'll go into practice where we're going to anchor our attention to something like breath sensation or sound. It could even be another body sensation, but something that when the mind wanders, you can come back to. Think of it as like a home base. So it's either feeling the sensations of your breath somewhere in your body, belly, chest, nostrils, or you could take the palms of your hands and rest them on your thighs or on a tabletop, or you could use sound. It's important to remember that it doesn't matter what you choose to anchor the wandering mind to. What matters is the quality of awareness you can bring to whatever that is. But we'll start with a body scan that'll be fully guided, and then I'll have you look for an anchor, and we'll settle into a concentration practice.
Sounds
So go
good.
ahead and take a posture that feels like it's going to serve you best today. If you're sleepy, I would suggest standing. Um, but otherwise, seated is fine. And you want to sit in a way that is upright and engaged with a spine that is straight but not stiff. See if once you adjust your posture in that way, you can then surrender your weight into the support of the surface. So dropping the shoulders, resting the arms and hands, just letting yourself drop into, surrender into the support of the earth beneath you. Know that you are being held firmly by that support. And also notice how you're holding yourself so that you're not leaning back against the chair and using that for support, but actually holding yourself upright in a way that is where you're consciously engaged. So your spine is straight, but not stiff. Relaxed, soften the body, the torso around the spine, drop the shoulders. And taking a moment to just kind of notice how the body is from your activity of the day so far. Anything that's making itself known to you, whether it's the heartbeat or temperature, but take a minute to just be aware of the whole body, receiving whatever is being offered. No need to change or make it different, just aware of what's happening. And let's take a moment to include sound. So sound in the room that you're in or outside of the room. Just hearing, engaging, hearing. And begin to bring your awareness back inward to the body, allowing sound to remain as it will in the background. And begin to narrow the focus from whole body awareness to the sensations that you're aware of when you breathe. That could be anywhere in the body, but often it's the abdomen or chest rising and falling, and it's actually the feeling. So not thinking about breathing, but wherever you're feeling the inhalation and the exhalation most prominently, let that serve as an anchor for the remainder of our practice. Alternatively, you can use sound. So if you have a consistent sound, if your windows are up and a consistent sound in the background, or another body sensation. So it could be points of contact with the soles of the feet and the surface or the back of the body, or the hands resting on the thighs. So locating what's going to be best for you in terms of an anchor. So as the mind wanders and you notice, as soon as you notice, that's a really important moment. Just make a soft mental note, thinking. Release the storyline, soften the body, and just simply return to your anchor. You're doing it correctly. Noticing where the mind is, releasing thought, softening the body, and returning to your anchor. And as we bring this meditation to a close, may we be peaceful and at ease. May our heart be soft and open. May we be safe and protected, and our bodies healthy and strong. And for all of those known and unknown to us, may they be peaceful and at ease. May their heart be soft and open. May they be safe and protected, and their bodies healthy and strong. And may the merit of our practice today be for the benefit of all beings everywhere. And if your eyes were closed, you can go ahead and open the eyes. And if they were open or closed, it's always helpful to reorient to the space you're in. So usually just look around a little bit and just reconnect with your surroundings.
Thank you, Tara.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Before we open it up, I just want to, there's a poem that I love by John O'Donohue, and it's really, really short, but it speaks to transitions. And he says, his poem says, I would love to live like a river flows, carried by the surprise of its own unfolding. So I would love to live like a river flows, carried by the surprise of its own unfolding. I love that so much. It's really one of my favorites. But would love to hear from anyone on what the experience of this practice was like for you today. Any comments or questions, or even recommendations, poems or books or shows, or anything in support of our well-being.
Alicia, you're making me laugh. Take me to the river for sure.
Yes.
There's nothing, I guess because I grew up either on lakes or in the ocean.
Yeah.
And I really didn't do a lot of river swimming. And a friend of mine invited me up to Vermont to do some river swimming.
Oh.
And there is nothing like that.
Oh.
Where it really just takes you.
Yeah. Yeah. You need somebody at the other end to pick you up.
Yeah.
Oh, there's lots coming in. Let's see. Coming up on a big transition. Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm glad the timing is good. Notice.
Yeah, I mean, I think transitions bring often unexpected delight too. They're not always scary, but the unknown is what I think can be challenging for all of us in different ways. But to have this community of support is incredibly helpful. It's been so helpful to me, for sure. So many people gathering at one time in one place, almost 30 of us on the call today. And, doing this work, which is heart opening and increasing our sense of compassion for not only ourselves, but for others. And yeah.
I love the word surrender that's used a lot of times in our practice, because that really just invokes that feeling of just letting everything be as it is.
Yeah.
And the body scan helps so much to do that. So
yeah. Yes.
so much.
Yeah. I know. I think I mentioned, did I mention this last week? This book called Anchored by Deb Dana. Yeah, really good. For anybody who wasn't on last week, I think, as Suzanne just mentioned, body, and it's really like the book really connects in with how our body knows things before our minds, actually. And that's kind of a hard concept to understand, because we think we mentally take something in, then that impacts the body. But it's really all about the wisdom of the body, knowing before the intellect, and how to soothe the vagus nerve, and how we co-regulate with other people. So we really need other people to help us. And so anyway, it's super interesting and helpful and completely relevant to what we're doing.
Yeah, it's so interesting, because many times we think of that we have a gut reaction, and that really is the case.
Yes.
The connection between the gut and the brain has been, there's been so much science around that, but that's been a term that's been around forever.
No, it's right. Yes. It's like kind of the wisdom of the ancients who knew. And the vagus nerve goes all the way there. That means wandering. It's a wandering nerve. It's like the biggest nerve in the body. So there's a lot to it. But yeah.
Well, thank you, Tara, for guiding us today and giving us an opportunity to connect with the transitions that are going on and give us another way to handle them. So
yes, and thank you all for showing up, and doing this practice together really means a lot.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And we will see you next week. Let's see, we have Mary Star Green.
On Tuesday. Great. Yeah. She's so good. I say that about all of the instructors because I think our instructor team is great. Yeah, thanks.
We're very
Okay.
lucky. All right. Well, have a good rest of your day and transition into the weekend.
Okay. Bye, everybody.